the incredible camera-centric Xiaomi 14 Ultra from 2024, I was curious how good the cameras on the Xiaomi 15 Ultra can actually be. So today, let's see how good the Xiaomi 15 Ultra is when compared to the last year's Xiaomi 14 Ultra. There's plenty of similarities between the two phones. In hand, they feel pretty much identical, other than just slightly different design of the camera bump, just the feel of it, and also the finish on the back. Other than that, they feel pretty much identical in hand. But there are some key differences between the two phones in terms of the camera department. Both of them actually have a Leica collaboration, and both of them have a quad camera setup on the back. The 14 Ultra has it more symmetrical, where the new 15 Ultra has it a little bit different when compared to the 14 Ultra. But there is a difference, but it is because of the way the sensors are, which we're gonna get into in a second. Both offer a 1-inch camera sensor, which is incredibly nice for a smartphone photography. It is a pretty big sensor when looking at a smartphone. Usually, sensors on the smartphones are pretty small, but here we have a full 1-inch sensor as the main camera sensor. It is a nice one on both of these, and because of that, I really love it that when you take photos with these two smartphones, they feel more like a camera photo rather than a smartphone photo. Even to the point of the background being much more blurred when compared to other smartphones. There is actually a difference here. While both of the main camera sensors are 1-inch and 50 megapixel, the 14 Ultra actually has one thing that the 15 Ultra doesn't. It has a variable aperture, meaning you can close up or open up the eye depending on how much light you want to put into it, where the Xiaomi 15 Ultra doesn't have it. I don't know why and if there is a reason for it, but it just doesn't have it. It's a shame because I really liked it and it can actually give you some more extra possibilities with the 14 Ultra, but it's no longer here on the 15 Ultra. Other than that, I would say just from the sensor size, it's pretty much the same. Both take great photos in daylight and after dark. Because of its nice big sensor, usually on other phones you would probably have to wait for a second or two, but with this you can usually take a photo right away. So they're really good in low light because of how big the sensor is. But before we go into other lenses, I wanted to mention one thing. While both of them have the Leica Authentic and Leica Vibrant for color profiles, I feel like coming for all of the different lenses that we have here, different sensors, well, there's one thing that I noticed. The Xiaomi 15 Ultra, the post-processing of the photos, is in my opinion a better one of the two. The photos look better. While I love the Xiaomi 14 Ultra, is my daily driver, I have to give it to the Xiaomi 15 Ultra that the post-processing, so the editing of the photos, is better on the 15 Ultra. It just feels better, looks better, and just overall is more consistent across different photos. Now, moving on to the ultra wide angle lens. Both of them have pretty much a 50 megapixel ultra wide angle lens, which will perform pretty much the same across the two. All of these also have a 50 megapixel telephoto lens, which is really nice because it's not only a really nice telephoto lens, it is also incredibly nice for portraits, being that it's around a 75mm equivalent, which just perfectly works for portraits, but also it works as a macro lens. Thanks to this, you no longer have to use the ultra wide angle lens for macro. On both of these, you can use the telephoto lens, which makes the photos look much better and much more professional. If you're into macro photography, the Xiaomi Ultra series is definitely the one for you. And then we have the biggest difference, which is the telephoto periscope lens. On the Xiaomi 15 Ultra, it is a much bigger sensor than the one on the 14 Ultra. Not only that, it's also a 200 megapixel sensor as opposed to the 50 megapixel that we have on the 14 Ultra. With bigger sensor, you have much more light coming in, and you can definitely feel when you have them side by side that the 15 Ultra has a much bigger sensor than the 14 Ultra. But there is one key difference. The 14 Ultra has a ×5 zoom, where the 15 Ultra has a 4.3 times zoom, so it's a little bit lower than the one on the 14 Ultra. But what it does have is a 200 megapixel camera sensor, meaning that it can zoom in much closer thanks to this digital zoom, just more megapixel to work with. And because of that, I feel like the end result will be better on the Xiaomi 15 Ultra. You can just zoom much more, and even when zoomed in, it will take a better photo. Even when using the AI features, it's still gonna look much better on the 15 Ultra. It's just overall the more extreme ranges are gonna look better and more detailed and more clear on the Xiaomi 15 Ultra as opposed to the Xiaomi 14 Ultra. And both of these phones support HDR photos. Also, you can shoot in JPEG and RAW. So if you want to take full advantage of the sensors that we have on here, and what we really have on this is amazing camera sensors, well, you can shoot in RAW and edit them in post-production on your phone or on your computer back at home. If you're interested in my presets to color grade those photos really quickly, check out the link down below for my presets on my website. And with the pro camera setups that they have, they come with the pro camera modes. You can really take advantage of the two smartphones. You can change everything while shooting the photos, and thanks to this you can combine the pro settings with the RAW capabilities and really take this as a really nice high-end quality mobile photography setup. Also, both of them have a 32 megapixel selfie camera setup. If you enjoyed the music in this video or in any other of my work, check out the link down below for Epidemic Sound. You can find copyright-free music for your videos. In terms of video, they're once again pretty similar. Both can record in 8K 30 frames per second, also in 4K up to 120 frames per second on the main camera sensors, but on the 15 Ultra you can actually shoot in 4K 120 frames per second on the periscope lens too. Both of the phones can also shoot in 4K 60 frames per second in HDR, but more importantly for me, both can actually shoot in 4K 60 frames per second across all the lenses, and you can switch between them on the fly when shooting the video. So you can go from ultra wide angle lens and then zoom in to the periscope lens. It's really nice. I love that both of these have it, and both of them have really smooth animation between the lenses. So it's really nice. It just looks really smooth and really good. And both of these smartphones can actually shoot in 4K 60 frames per second in log format. But there is a key difference between the two. Where the Xiaomi 14 Ultra can shoot in 4K 60 frames per second in the log format on the main camera sensor, where the Xiaomi 15 Ultra can actually shoot the 4K 60 frames per second log on all of the camera sensors, which is a big difference in my opinion. Really take it to the next level with color grading in post-production and taking full advantage of what these sensors can actually offer, where the 14 Ultra can only do it on the main camera sensor. So there is a little bit of a difference here, but both can shoot in 4K 60 frames per second with the log format, and both of these phones have the Pro mode where you can change the shutter speed, ISO, and with the 14 Ultra you can change the aperture, where you cannot do it on the 15 Ultra, but you have the Pro mode on both of them. Overall, both are incredible for photos, both are incredible for videos, and both are super smooth in them. Overall, really sharp, really good looking videos. I would say probably the worst part about the two is definitely the stabilization, which isn't as good as some competition I've seen, and other than that I feel like they're really nice for a flagship in 2025, even the 14 Ultra, which is a little bit older at this point. There's one more thing that I noticed when holding these phones like this. You can definitely feel the rattle of the main camera sensor. Image stabilization, when it's turned off, you can kind of hear it sometimes when it moves, where you cannot feel it and hear it on the 15 Ultra. They had to have some kind of update, and I know a lot of people actually talked about how they feel and hear the rattling of it. I can actually hear it during the day when I walk, when I have it in my pocket, and I can definitely feel it and hear it, where on the 15 Ultra it just isn't there anymore. Overall, both of these smartphones are incredible for photos and videos. And with the 14 Ultra being such a good smartphone, they can still hold up in 2024. I just feel like the 15 Ultra is a nice evolution of what we had last year. But both are incredible, and I will leave it to you to decide if it's worth to upgrade to the next generation. But other than that, they're both incredible. With that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I hope you guys enjoyed this video once again, and I'll see you next time.